यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान गण प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। My best wishes and Paripurna Ashirvadams, all kinds of prosperity, wealth, health and eternal happiness to you and your entire family members and friends too. Today we are about to begin the chapter number 6 in Bhagavad Gita. Let us begin the first words. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Anashritah Karma Phalam Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha Sasannyasi cha yogi cha naniragnirna chakriyaha. By the God's grace, by the grace of Venkatajalapati and Krishna, we have completed 5 chapters. And this 6th chapter also, they may continuously bless upon us to explore proper deep meaning in easy way. Now, before entering into the chapter, I would like to give few informations. So those informations will help us to explore properly, because the title of this chapter is known as Dhyana Yogam. This dhyana, the word, so wrongly misinterpreted by so many people, and there are so many varieties of meditations available in the market, and it has become a huge successful business too. But people are not given what to be given in the name of meditation. So meditation, and medical people also suggest one should go for the meditation. And what do they mean? What kind of meditation they suggest? So those meditations are not complete meditations, just to relax yourself and to contemplate in the relaxations. And also these yogic people ask you, when you practice meditation, even they ask me, how long do you meditate? And according to them, one who sits for a long time, he is the supreme meditator. So one should sit for at least 5 hours in a day, then he becomes a great meditator. Meditation is not deviating yourself from your duty. It should not cause for it. And meditation should not help you to set a kind of imaginary world. Because when you imagine, there is a status in which you can become complete bliss. It's a special experience. That experience is extraordinary experiences. And this meditation, which are done for extraordinary experiences, we have to be very careful. The experience of the moksha is not extraordinary. Then you may deviate from the core of the spiritual growth. And there are meditations, those meditation in order to gain extra power, and those meditation like Ravana did that upasana. And these words have to be understood carefully. Upasana, nididhyasanam, dhyanam, yoga and sannyasam, these all words have been interpreted in different way in our Sanatana Dharma by many acharyas. Though they are differing with each other, but they are not differing from the main core of the spiritual growth and main core which is known as a target. Now we have to have proper lineage through which I can or you can or we can explore and understand the proper meaning of this meditation. Because in normal day itself, there are so many misconceptions about many normal words even. The last month I attended one music concert. I was invited because that musician was my student. I had taken one of my colleague who was also, sannyasi like. We attended the function. It was fantastic. We had a wonderful time and nice entertainment it was. After the program, when we were questioned, when we were asked, how was the program, I said it was marvelous, fantastic. It was the meaningful, divine program. And nearby person, the person who was with me, he was from Chennai. He said, Pramadam, Pramadam. Bas. Those musician face went, so sad. Then I understood what went wrong because that musician from Andhra. So in Telugu, pramada means either it is accident or it is very danger. So now when he asked how was the concert, he said pramadam, pramadam means danger, danger. Then I said no, in Tamil, pramadam means wonderful, excellent. Now I have to make him to understand so what exactly he meant. So the language may difference. In the same language also, sometimes the understanding goes wrong. So when I came to this city first time, so my devotees, students, they bring bhiksha. Sannyasi should live by bhiksha, that is what the method. We have to teach. So when we teach, then they have to assimilate the knowledge. Then they have to cook for us with mantra japa, which we suggest to them with a proper attitude. Those bhiksha we have to accept as the bhiksha from Mother Parvati or Mother Lakshmi. Therefore, we even, we chant Anna Purne Sada Purne Shankara Prana Vallabhe Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham Bhikshande Cha Parvati. That is our understanding must be. So bhiksha was served and there were new family who offered bhiksha and those family used to come to offer bhiksha. Then he was a big business person. One day they were not able to come. They sent somebody else to provide bhiksha. Then I received. On that day they had provided idli. I think you might be knowing idli, okay? I thought, it was not sufficient for me because from morning when we get up by 4:30, we chant all the chantings and we also chant Bhagavad Gita, at least 6 chapters we have to chant. Not only that, we have so many other bhashyam also to chant and yoga, and if you do everything, so this only 3 idli was not enough. I thought, okay, I should tell because we have to let them know that it was not sufficient for me. I told that person, from tomorrow, ask them to keep 2 more idlis. Okay. Then he went, he conveyed the message, what I said. From next week, once in a week they have to give. From next day onwards, so somebody else gave bhiksha and they had given pongal and 2 more idli. The next day and they were given khichdi with 2 idli and 2 idli was coming continuously. I thought, what happened to these people? I just inquired, why you people are giving 2 varieties? I need only 1 variety, and that too, I don't pay attention on the taste because when you are contemplated on the subject matter, Shastra, you need not to pay attention even the taste. Let the taste buds and enzymes work in their own way and digest is being done. But when we eat food, we have to contemplate on the food. But that's what Karma Yoga. So you have to eat with ekagrata. At the same time, your buddhi should not give satyatva, should not depend on the taste. That's what our practice we were doing. Then I said only one variety is enough. Then that Amma told, Swamiji, you alone suggested to keep 2 idlis with all the food. Then I had to make them understand what I meant. Because once I convey any message, it spreads with all the students. Now I have to tell all the people what I meant. I thought of where it went wrong, my delivery. So was the mistake committed by me, or the mistake committed by the person who was the mediator, or mistake committed by those people who understood wrongly, and the mistake committed by those other people because of misunderstanding, communication? Was there communication gap? I started inquiring. Then I came to know, because the mistake, wherever it is, it has to be rearranged. So why I'm saying, when you talk something, when you let the people know, you may not sure they will understand the way you meant that subject matter. Therefore, you have to be very, very, very careful. Now, the Patanjali Maharishi has got a different style, different shaili to interpret the word for meditation. And the word of yoga, for him, yoga means samadhi. For Krishna, yoga means adhyaya or karma yoga. For Patanjali, yogi means a meditator, one who is focused for samadhi. But for Krishna, yogi means buddhi yogi or karma yogi, and who is also sannyasi. Now we should know how to segregate the meaning. We should also combine the meaning when there is a necessary comes. Not to create complications, to make more clear understanding. That's how we have to study further. Dhyai means to think. To think means to contemplate, to concentrate on any given subject is known as meditation. That is the basic meaning interpreted commonly by all the acharyas. But Patanjali, what he does, that we will see a little bit. And before that, also I would like to say that here this chapter has got one more name called Atma Samyama Yoga. Dhyana Yogam or Atma Samyama Yogam. And here the student is not a fresh one. He is not the fresh one means what? He is not just beginning from the 6th chapter. The person, one who has completed 5 chapters, one who could understand the confusion of Arjuna and the need of the clarity of Dharma, and who could understand Brahma Vidya, who could assimilate somehow Karma Yoga. So that person who has undergone all the process of Tam Padartha Visheshaha, that person is the student. If you are traveling from the 1st chapter, for you it is easier to go from here. If somebody or anybody, if they are beginning right now, for them there are a little bit confusion, so that I am making it very clear. Now, dhyanam means what? To think. To think on something without thinking anything else is known as dhyanam. Though the Dhyanam word has been fixed by Patanjali as the seventh step in the Ashtanga Yoga. But before that, he gives one more word, dharana. Dharana means ekagrata chittam. Means like when you pour any oil, one vessel to another vessel, that oil continuously it is poured. Like when you are able to be with one vritti, one thought continuously, it's known as dharana. So in dharana, you may go out and come back. Yato nischarati manaschanchalam asthiram. So even Krishna brings that method. He also talks about that meditation means that is a process. In order to get that process, you need to have preliminary work to be done. So those work also comes in the name of meditation alone. I mean, preparation of the meditation, also called meditation alone. Now this meditation, how it is meant by Patanjali Maharishi. Patanjali Maharishi says in the first sutra itself, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That is the sutra. This sutra alone explained by all other sutras in 4 chapters. I little bit introduced in the last 4th chapter, I suppose. But here, what he means for yoga. Yoga is the word which is interpreted in the whole yoga darshana. Yoga means what? Samadhi. That is the destination. The goal is introduced by Patanjali in the beginning itself as the first word which comes in the 2nd sutra. First sutra is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. The 2nd sutra is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. 3rd one Tada Drashtuh Swarupeva Sthanam. That's all completed. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. The message is conveyed. What to be conveyed? It has been conveyed. Yoga means samadhi. Samadhi is that's a state of bliss. You need to have lots of teaching for proper understanding of the word yoga, which means samadhi. So samadhi is the meaning given by Patanjali Maharishi. So how to get the samadhi? The process is known as Nirodha, by the cessation, sir. By the cessation of what? By the cessation of vritti. Oh, vritti means what? Vritti means thoughts, where it exists in the chitta. Though when you go as the process called cessation, that will help you to attain samadhi. Samadhi means was cessation of chitta vritti. Chitta vritti nirodha samadhi ityuchyate. Cessation of all vritti. Oh my God, when you just negate, clear all the vritti, what will remain? Drashtuh swarupeva sthanam. You will be endowed with your real nature. Beautiful sutras. Then he talks about how many varieties of chitta vrittis are there. From the beginning itself, Patanjali is very clear. He introduced what the goal to be taken. And he introduced the method. He introduces the process. Process means what? Nirodha. Cessation is the process. Now meditation means what? The goal of meditation is samadhi. Meditation means cessation. Cessation means what? So wrongly people also understand. They say that you have to vacate your mind. You have to empty your mind. You should get the mindless state. In a state where there is no mind. No, wrong information. So you have to continue with the Patanjali Maharishi. Don't think that I am teaching Patanjali Yoga Sutra, but it is needed here. Therefore, we are discussing little bit. Okay, I'm not going to complete Patanjali Sutra right now. Maybe in future, so if Venkateshwara and Lord Krishna, if they bless, we will have that too. It's a highly research oriented text called Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Now he says cessation is called meditation. Okay, that's what he means. And that cessation will help what? To be identified, to be endowed with your real nature. That is not against Shastra. So now Patanjali, he says meditation means, so the process, the work to be done with your vritti. Vrittis are not outside. Now vritti means what? Thoughts. Now meditation means what? Dealing with your own thought. Wow, then it's easier. No, it's not that much easier, because your thoughts are connected with outside world, there where problem arises. Okay, so Patanjali, he holds the core where your all things can be captured, like holding the neck or holding the hair. So that's what Patanjali just begins slowly, but he hits where to be hit, because thoughts are connected with outside. Now Patanjali says there are 5 kinds of thoughts, because you should have the question, so what is vritti and how many vrittis are there? He says there are 5 kinds of vritti. He says pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smrtayaha. There are 5 kinds of vrittis. Those 5 kinds of vrittis alone we have. Whatever the thoughts that we have, only categorized in these 5 varieties. Now vritti means what? Anything you see, you will set a vritti. When you look at a man in front of you, you will get man vritti. When you see animal in front of you, you will get animal vritti. When you see in front of you a tree, you will get the tree vritti. Whatever the object comes in front of you, it will give a vritti. A vritti is generated. Not only that, one object can get another vritti also. If you have a watch, that watch is gifted by somebody else, whenever you see the watch, you will get that watch vritti, and you will also get that person who has given in the form of vritti. Now you will get 2 kinds of vritti. Not only that, if you have the fight with him, that will also develop more vrittis. You will get watch vritti, means a thought of watch, means a watch thought, and that person's thought. Then the experience, sadness also will be colored with that vritti. Patanjali says, so the complete cessation won't happen in the beginning. These vrittis are 2 kinds. Klishta, klishtaha, the disturbing vritti, the vritti which will make you to fall down. Therefore, you have to keep that vritti away. First, you have to contemplate, and you have to be endowed with positive vrittis. That's the first process. Cessation. So this is how the meditation is said. Once you could be away, you could remove that negative vrittis, you can be with that positive vritti, but this is wrong words, positive, negative vrittis, okay. So because there are deep meaning, vikalpa, viparyaya. Viparyaya means mithya jnanam, and vikalpaha means that is also a kind of false knowledge. Purushasya chaitanyam. So it seems to be 2 objects, but they are not 2 objects. It needs lots of interpretations, and it needs a methodology to teach. So this much is enough to understand what Patanjali wants to say. Patanjali's meditation is a cessation. Nirodham, nirodhaha. That cessation is not possible in the beginning itself. Slowly you have to practice, you have to grow yourself. That's a long process. You need to have yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, then dharana, dhyana, samadhi. These ashta angas you have to travel. This is what the meaning given by Rishi Patanjali. For him, yogi means the person who is endowed with the job or process of cessation. Okay? And when you make effort for that, you will gain a kind of power. Those power may bring extraordinary powers, but Patanjali says, don't encourage yourself to be endowed with there. Just don't pay attention. You just go further. So Patanjali is very clear. Therefore, we also have Yoga Darshanam, one among the Shad Darshanam. So Shad Darshanam is accepted by all the Acharyas. Okay. Therefore, this yoga word for Patanjali, yoga means it's a process of negation of vritti. That's what he means. But Bhagavad Gita means yoga means karma yoga. Yogi means karma yogi. Now, who is going to be a meditator according to Lord Krishna? That we have to go along with the words of Lord Krishna. And the second word, sannyasi. So though we have studied about sannyasa in the last chapter, sannyasa means inner sannyasa. Now who is sannyasi? What exactly sannyasa is? Sannyasa is to give up. And there are two kinds of sannyasas are suggested by Vaidika Marga. Vidvat sannyasa, vividisha sannyasa. Vividisha sannyasa means a person, one who wants to get spiritual improvement by studying, by pursuing Shastra. When he wants to pursue Shastra, he wants to have a time. For that, he renounces the duties and comes. He dedicates his life for Shastra Pathanam, the study of the scriptures, called Vividisha Sannyasa. And there are the people who study first with complete understanding of the Shastra. They take sannyasa called Vidvat Sannyasa. Both sannyasis, both kinds of sannyasis are away from the duty of grihastha. Therefore, they are known as niragnihi. Agni rahitaha. Agnihi means fire. Fire mostly used for the yajna, yaga, homas. Those fire rituals need not to be performed by the sannyasi because he has given up all the wishes, all the selfishness. So therefore, he is known as Vaidika Sannyasi. And there is a Krama Sannyasa and direct sannyasa too. Whatever the sannyasa, only these two varieties are there. This is the meaning of sannyasi. Now here, Bhagavan Krishna, he compares with these words. Okay, in the first verse itself, he says, Sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. That person is called yogi and sannyasi too. Who? Here he says grihastha. A grihastha person means householder. A householder is known as prized by Lord Krishna. He alone sannyasi, he alone yogi. In the beginning itself, he hits the sixer. A grihastha, how can he be sannyasi? How can he be yogi? A grihastha means who is endowed with lots of duty. So how do we understand? It's a very complication, isn't it? We will continue from the next session. Harihi Om. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ